Hi, I'm totally not named Dan, though you can call me that if you want, and I'm a major card game enthusiast. I've dabbled in all sorts like Wyvern, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Final Fantasy, Card Fight, Buddy Fight, Weiss Schwartz, Dragon Ball, and even Beyblade over the years, and you'll probably hear about all of those from me in the future. But currently, my main three are Magic the Gathering, Digimon, and a little unknown one that you've probably not heard of, UniVersus, formerly known as UFS. Now, if you have heard of UniVersus, it's probably as the base for the upcoming My Hero Academia card game, releasing sometime probably late this September. And so, as a long-time player of this card game, I would like to talk about it a little bit more in the month or so leading up to its release. Give you a proper overview of how to play the game, what to expect from it, and just why I like it so much. And so, without further ado, let's cut to the down view where we can all see how I like to set up my field, how I like to start a game. But do bear in mind that the way I set up my field is not necessarily the same as how other people set up their fields. I learned how to play this game a long time ago, back in 2006, and therefore I have my own system which works well for me, which I personally think makes more sense. And then in a future video we'll look at how to actually play the game as well. Right, here we have my official Uraraka card mat, and let's just place onto it, right over here, my deck. I am, for those of you who don't know, right-handed, so the fact that I'm placing it most of the way to the left may seem a little confusing at first, but trust me, this game is played left to right. It makes sense to me to draw my hand from the left to the right, and then play cards from that down here. This first card, though, not a card I'm actually playing, that's just my starting character. You search your deck for your starting character at the start of the game, and whatever cards the starting character may ask you to also find. In this particular case, we're going with Bakugo, because he's one of the three characters that's known from the upcoming set, and you'll notice I just pulled him off the top. He was my first card. That's because a lot of the time, after they've shuffled, players will put their deck away and then put their character on top so they can find them very easily for the next game, because there is no requirement to shuffle your deck before you find your character. There is, however, a requirement to shuffle it afterwards, so I'm going to do that right now. I'm sure you all noticed that blatantly obvious cut. I have stacked my deck since I shuffled, just for demonstration purposes, so I can draw a hand and show you what a bad one looks like. 6 cards, because that's what my character says to draw, and you can also see the same hand size symbol from my character as my viewer count down here. It's currently at 0, just because this is a YouTube exclusive video, nobody's watching it live. Right, and the hand I've got, you'll see. The most important thing to notice about it, every single one of these cards is orange. And orange cards, attacks, not great to keep on your first turn, and in fact, you're not even allowed to play them first turn in the My Hero Academia format. So we're going to take a mulligan, which is we're going to put these on the bottom, and we're going to draw the next 6. Then, when we're done doing so, we're going to shuffle. You're only allowed 1 mulligan per game at the start of the game, just to ensure that you get a decent starting hand. So this hand has 1 blue card, 1 green card, and 4 grey. That's a lot better. Grey cards are the ideal cards for starting the game with, for reasons we'll talk about in another video. Now I'm going to shuffle again, and this time I'm not going to cut away. Or at least I really hope I'm not. It does depend on how well I do in this recording. Right, so my hand's over here, and as I mentioned earlier, taking this hand, playing to the right, so it would be 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and so on. Basically just playing the cards out in a row up here in what's known as my card pool, which is where the cards that I'm currently playing go. And yeah, left to right, get more difficult as they go, nice and simple, and then at the end of the turn, these will come down here to my stage. We'll talk about what cards being in my stage means a little later on. Right, so going into my second turn, I now have the option to look at this hand and go, maybe I don't want this one this time. I get to discard one card before I draw, as what's known as my review step, a sort of mini mulligan. Because at the start of each turn I will draw up to my hand size anyway. So by getting that card out of my hand, it's not clogging my hand up, I'm drawing 5 more cards instead of 4, and I have a good chance of getting orange cards, which as mentioned before are the attacks. So I'll play a few of those down. Again, into the card pool. And you'll see my discard pile is now over here from what I discarded at the start of this turn. I like to keep my discard pile on this side, because it means it's away from everything that I'm playing. No possible source of confusion there. And then, I don't have a reason to do so right now, but I'm going to remove this card from game and show you where that would be. Remove from game is either here above my discard pile, which is slightly awkward and out of the way, but still visible to everyone, or it's over here, completely out of the playing field. Still somewhere where I'll see it before I start game 2, so I don't have cards missing from my deck, but well outside the field of actual play. Now these attacks, based on whether they've done damage or not at the end of the turn, may end up in this discard pile, or they may end up slotting onto my character face down in what's known as my momentum. And you can have as many cards as you need in your momentum, as long as you've actually got them there legitimately. Occasionally abilities will say that your momentum goes face up as well, but unless it says so, it goes face down. And this face down momentum just stays there to be used for the costs of some effects. You can't look at it, but at the same time, it's not random. You can choose which one of these you discard when you discard one. So there's an element of memory involved in your momentum as well. And yeah, that is how you lay out the game, or at least how I lay out the game. The card pool up here can go on absolutely indefinitely. As you've seen previously, you're not limited to 6. My deck analysis mentioned that playing a 7th was a big deal, but this can just keep going on forever, and that's part of why I like this setup. Because we've not got character one side, deck the other side. There's nothing closing off the right-hand side of my field. So, unless there's another player or a wall, I can just go on forever. And yeah, that's everything for this video. Please stick around, subscribe for next video, where I'll go over the 5 different card types. See you then!